کشورهای منطقه سیاست حسن همجواری با همه کشورها.
Iran has issued one of its clearest warnings yet to Gulf states while rejecting reports that it attacked Saudi Arabia. Foreign Ministry spokesman Esmail Baghaei dismissed the allegations as false, saying Iran openly announces every military target it strikes. He suggested the reports could be part of a false flag operation aimed at widening regional tensions and dragging more countries into the crisis. At the same time, Tehran reminded neighboring countries that it had repeatedly warned them not to allow their territory, facilities, or capabilities to be used by the United States or Israel for operations against Iran. According to Baghaei, those warnings were ignored, helping fuel the instability and security challenges that have unfolded across the region in recent months.
Our armed forces bravely declare any target they attack within the framework of Iran's right to self-defense. In this case, we have had no statement from our armed forces. We have always warned against deceptive or false flag operations in this chaotic situation facing our region. On multiple occasions, both in the 40 days leading up to the ceasefire on April 8th and during last year's imposed war, the Zionist regime or other parties in the region have carried out false flag attacks to create more division and discord among the countries of the region. Iran itself has always been committed to the NPT and has consistently adhered to its obligations under this treaty. What we have witnessed over the past 2 years, especially after the attack by the Zionist regime on Iran's nuclear facilities in June of last year, is the result of actions by the United States and the Zionist regime.
Despite the criticism, Iran says it wants to rebuild trust with regional governments. Baghaei insisted that Tehran's policy of good neighborliness remains unchanged and argued that Gulf countries and Iran must work together to create a region that is secure and independent in managing its own security affairs.
We are determined to restore relations with the countries of the region. The policy of good neighborliness with all regional countries is a fixed policy. Keep in mind that Iran is not to blame for the events that occurred in these 3 months. We have repeatedly warned neighboring countries in advance not to allow their territories, facilities, and capacities to be misused by the United States and the Zionist regime for attacks on Iran. Unfortunately, these warnings were not heeded in practice. Despite this, we have always said that as permanent neighbors and as countries with many historical, cultural, and religious ties, we must strive to create a secure and self-reliant region in terms of regional security. We are determined in this regard and will.
The warning comes amid rising tensions between Iran, Israel, and the United States. Tehran accuses Washington of bearing responsibility for Israeli military actions and says recent developments have deepened mistrust in ongoing diplomatic contacts. Iranian officials argue that any future escalation cannot be viewed separately from broader U.S. policies in the region. Despite its criticism, Iran says it remains committed to restoring relations with regional countries and pursuing a policy of good neighborliness. But Tehran's message is clear. Reports of an Iranian attack on Saudi Arabia are false, and Gulf states should avoid becoming platforms for operations against Iran if they want to prevent a new cycle of instability across the Middle East.